That isn't solution. You know what solution is? Let's step back for a bit. Let's everybody just take another day. Don't do it today. Do it tomorrow. You know, if you think, you know, because you might feel totally different. This warmongering and thinking that they've done something bad to me. What did Jesus teach? He taught forgiveness. It seems sometimes that human beings are on a path of self-destruction, or because we inquire to our own date of expiration, you know, and then, you know, created the day of the apocalypse and all of that, you know, and then give it this doom and gloom. I don't know who's made their interpretation overlay the words, but you know, it's the revelation, it's the revealing of things, the revealing of great hidden mysteries and truths. You know, talks about the 7 churches in the Revelation, and each church being an age of a religion, and each one having a particular flaw. You know, and therefore you can recognize them by these character traits. You know, the 7 candles representing these 7 churches and the 7 eras, and then you've got like the empires, and we find ourselves in this final empire, which is Rome Part 2. You know, everyone wondered after the beast that was injured, you know, and rose up out of the ashes. Well, you can look at that as that's Rome. You know, when Emperor Nero burnt down Rome, and the idea of Caesar disappeared. But where did Caesar disappear to? Caesar became religion, the Pope, because they'd found a higher form of magic that would control more people. There was controlling people with force before, and they found force isn't working. It's taking all our resources, we're having to fight to control it. But they found that people with religion and belief would just do anything for a promise of a bit of glory. You know, if they sprinkle some fairy dust and that, people were jumping at it. So they thought, okay, get rid of this Caesar thing and make it look like, you know, for our own political purposes. And ever since, politics and religion have been working together, these 2 sticks, these 2 horns. You know? I shouldn't say 2 sticks, 2 horns. Yeah? The political beast and the religious beast. Okay, and they're pushing and driving everything. You know, you've got these symbolisms of the beast, yeah, that was made up of different animals, and then it had 7 heads, and then on the heads it had 10 horns, and then 10 crowns on the horns, and then when it's revealed that these 10 horns are representing 10 kingdoms, and the crowns represent the kingdoms, and the fact that they'll have power for a short time. And so people have looked at that and said, well, that's the European Union. They're the ones that really are the driving force behind this political beast. And the whore that sits upon it is looked upon as, well, that's the church. The church has been embedded with politics all along, and has benefited from the way politics has been driving the history of our world, you know, for the benefits of these elites, because without that there would not be belief in these institutions and these people running them, because people would realize, well, the creator's in everybody and in everything and has given everybody an equal share. So, you know, there's a lot of laziness in some people, there's a lot of desire in some people to be worshipped themselves. And in some cases, people are heaping these positions. Maybe back in the day when we was like the tribes, people would say, well, this guy's actually a great guy, and they would naturally give affection and love and honour. But then it's a tradition, and then it was forgotten about that you have to earn that honour, and was just bestowing it on them arbitrarily and saying, well, you're an honourable person because you're wearing the big hat today. Yeah.
Or like, your dad did something really good, so I'm going to give you special treatment.
Right. The name of the father comes on the son. Just like the sins of the father can, you know, be punished even as far as the 3rd and 4th generations. In one sense, that's true. And again, in another sense, how other human beings still alive, remember you, that's true. If there was a son of Hitler, he'd probably be suffering, wouldn't he? if everybody knew who he was. But such is the world today, the way that politics and things has twisted people's minds up, you know, nobody's sure anymore. Here's an interesting question. Hitler as a baby, right? This proved, I think, would prove what kind of human being you are, right? You know Hitler, you know what he's going to do, right? You had the opportunity to see Hitler as a baby. Would you kill him?
Kill the baby.
Kill the baby.
Interesting dialogue.
Of course it is. I think it's a no-brainer, though. I would not kill anybody anyway.
No.
I don't. That's not why I'm here. We know he's going to be Hitler. All right. Well, since the fact that we're there, nobody's even said, "Well, could we teach Hitler not to be Hitler?"
We could try.
Yeah.
But
Or is it inevitable? Like, you know, some time stream.
Let's say he did manage to teach Hitler not to be Hitler later. So Hitler didn't happen, right? But that means you haven't had that mistake in mankind's history to learn from. So maybe we just have different Hitler now that's well worse.
Well, what would we call now? We wouldn't be referring to now as fascism when they make these fascist determinations. We'd be the ones going through it. In a way, thank God that we've got that.
Thank God Hitler didn't have the internet. Like, we'd be fucked, mate. So maybe it's better that it happened early on, so we managed to, you know...
have a history. Well, but then we've had many histories. But one thing about Hitler is that it entered into a time of well-documented history with film. And maybe moving pictures made it more believable than just a... Yeah.
It has to have that documentation for people to fucking remember.
The better, more sophisticated it gets,
you know,
it's great.
It's not just your grandma telling you how bad it was. Like, because you don't really have much connection to that. But if you see someone being killed, you know, on film,
Right.
then that's much more impacting.
Well, that could lead into one of the big debates. Privacy and video cameras. Because everywhere you go in a supermarket, there's cameras. Hidden and even blatant. They're just everywhere. And people are just like walking around and say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you got nothing to fear. That's fine. But now we're starting to see that when the whole society is starting to fall apart because they're scared that there's not enough money to go around, people who are disadvantaged feel like they haven't got any option. Because if they're going to the benefit, which is supposed to stop all of that, you know, stop them being hungry and being on the street and getting kicked out of the house, when evil thoughts are coming into these leaders' minds to say, well, these people can do without food and these people can do without housing, they can just go on the street, which then forces these people to what? Go in the wilderness on hunt or go and steal from this shop? And nobody's seeing that as well. That's a symptom of them doing that. The cause was them stopping that. And did we have to do it that way anyway? Since we know that money's just created out of thin air anyway. And your money, if your money's in the bank and you left, say, $2,000 in the bank and they're lending money to people, you can still go get your $2,000. It's not your $2,000 it took. You know, you're not an investor. There are no investors. Everybody's a creditor. Right? And money's just something, it's like, do you have an idea? Yes, I have an idea. Right, well, go and get some credit and then build your idea. And when you need some more, get some credit. People have become scared of this, debt. And then giving these other people the power and belief that they can come and get paid twice and repayments. No, they got nothing to do with it.
Well, the thing is,
they're not doing anything. They're not creating any value to anything.
I'm in debt when someone tells me I'm in debt. I think I'm in debt when I feel like I'm in debt to someone. If someone does something good for me,
is that honour?
And then I don't do something back, then I'm in debt. Then you need to, keep that in mind, and I can pay it back whenever.
Yeah.
When the
well, good is
arises.
good. Yeah. I suppose some people. I suppose the Queen
said, if I knocked your phone off the table or something, broke it, and you wanted like $8,000 for it or something, that's just not reasonable. I'd be like, no, I can't do that. I haven't got $8,000 anyway. It's ridiculous.
Well, it depends. There might be $8,000 worth of information on there. I mean, I'm a person who I have intellectual property.
That's not the point I was making. That's moving off. But the example of the phone was just because it was there.
If there was nothing on it, I would be fair.
Let's say it wasn't worth that much, right?
Yeah.
It's just a phone. And there's nothing else on it.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't be like, oh, I guess I'll pay it then because I fucked it up and I'm in debt. But I can't pay it, so I just get really guilty and I've got that looming over me, the debt. debt cloud that you can never pay because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't. I personally can't do that.
Right.
Whether that's right or wrong, anyway.
Yeah.
But I'd look for some other way to pay it back.
Yeah.
It might take a while.
Pay it back in kind.
No.
Well, they say community service is supposed to be like
rather
that.
than pay it off.
I think community service, you know, for those that have really done some terrible things, community service is a good thing. We should all be benefiting from that. But the problem is nowadays, do we have even such a thing as community? Because, you know, why care? Care is disappearing. People are caring about themselves and money, and need to survive right now, because fear has driven into people this primal survival mode. You know, they're becoming like Neanderthals. And I think this is a great opportunity time, actually. Those that are like the elites, they're full of all these ideas that they're going to lead it like this. They've got their solutions already there, so that when these problems arise, they'll go, well, this is the solution. Yeah, Hegelian dialectic problem, reaction, solution. And that's how they drive the things in the world.
They'll do it very carefully. They'll kind of push it in a bit.
But we are influential as well. And I know they listen to us, and I know that when we're saying what we're saying, they will adapt. And you said that before about adapting, and I said evolving. They're adapting, evolving. Their idea, yeah?
Yeah.
So don't we all learn like that?
Yeah.
So the teaching has begun. And to be a good teacher, you've got to be a good student. You know, that bell curve that Mark Passio was going on about. You know, I like the way he explains things in depth, because I'm an in-depth kind of people. You know, other people, in-depth kind of people, I mean. Well, not person, these legal person. You know what? Language is a funny thing, but I'm glad people can, you know, share things with me through words. But that's all they are. You know, because what really matters is when those words impact upon us ethically and morally. And I know they're in a moral dilemma. I know that they agree with us, but they're stuck as to what to do. In a way, it's like we're Neo, and the machine world will carry on being fucked up until we go to them and teach them what love is. We're gonna have to fight this effigy of Smith. Smith's just a program. So it's the system itself. It's not these people necessarily, but interpretations of things. Now I know there's going to be a lot of people out there that disagree with me and say, "What? This guy's weak or something. He's trying to back down or something." Look, I see everything, and it's distressing sometimes. Yeah, I want to get to a solution quicker. Yeah, I want to get away from all this type of thing. You know, all these people that are trying to drive the war. Well, it's just not going to work. Yeah, because for a start, anyone that's trying to fight or set up some war.
It's been done already anyway.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of times. It's never worked.
Exactly. And we're just trying to get to peace, all of us. Let's just stop. Right? And we know it's driven by the banks, and we know it's driven by the big corporations. They're the ones that benefit from the wars. They get to rebuild in their own image. Yeah, they're obsessed, and that's why I'm saying, you know, maybe we should be more interested in, well, these people, sane or insane. Let's look at what they're doing. You know, let's judge that morally and ethically. Yeah, and stop beating around the bush. Yeah, and I'm really, really ashamed of some of these police officers, you know, and politicians and people who turn in a blind eye. They know what's wrong. And what the hell are you scared of? They're flesh and blood just like you. Talk to them. If they're shouting, so what? Right? You know, my missus, she shouts at me sometimes. I'll just walk away, you know, leave her to her own devices. And when I come back, you know, she's got to be better behaved. Or I'll just walk away again. You know, I'm tired. I don't want people who are argumentative.
These people,
got too much to do. You know,
they have
busy.
no forgiveness. Like, they don't forgive anyone. And they have no mercy, and they're ruthless. So, and they know that's wrong, that everything they're doing is wrong.
And they believe everyone's the same like them.
Yeah, they don't want to own up to it because they don't know. They think that we would react the same as they.
They think we chop their head off and all of that.
So they'd be punished, like, drastically. So.
Let he without
they're
sin.
scared of themselves.
Let he without sin cast the first stone.
They're scared of